I stole my daughter's millionaire husband and now am carrying his heir. My daughter, Chloe, is 18 years old, and 3 months ago, she married a man who is older than I am. I'm 41, a woman who has worked every day of her life to keep a roof over our heads, and he is 56. His name is Julian. He is wealthy beyond anything we've ever known, the kind of wealth that doesn't just buy houses, but buys people. When Chloe first told me, I was disgusted. I told her she was selling her youth for a credit card, but she just laughed and told me I was jealous of her freedom. She spent the first few months of their marriage living like a ghost in a gold cage, or rather, a ghost who spent all her time leaving the cage. She was never home. She was always in Ibiza, or St. Tropez, or Aspen with a rotating cast of friends who only appeared once she moved into Julian's mansion. She posted photos constantly, barely their bikinis on yachts, expensive champagne flowing like water, and outfits that cost more than my car. I wanted her to find a real man, someone her own age who could give me grandchildren and give her a real life. I was convinced Julian was just an old, dried-up bank account who couldn't possibly offer her anything but a paycheck. When the holidays rolled around, they invited me to their estate in the Hamptons. My first instinct was to say no. I didn't want to watch my daughter play the role of a trophy wife while ignoring the man who provided it all. But curiosity, or maybe some dark maternal instinct to see the car crash up close, won out. I arrived at the villa expecting to see a creepy old man and a blushing bride. Instead, I found a house that felt like a museum, cold, quiet, and empty despite the luxury. Chloe barely acknowledged me. She was too busy on her phone, complaining that the private jet for her next trip had a technical delay. Julian, however, was different than I imagined. He was elegant, soft-spoken, and deeply, visibly lonely. He stood in the corner of his own living room like a guest who wasn't sure if he was allowed to sit down. I watched Chloe snap at him because her favorite vintage wine wasn't chilled to the exact degree she liked. She didn't love him. She didn't even like him. To her, he was just a vending machine that spat out luxury. One night, Chloe went out to a club with some local socialites, leaving me and Julian alone by the massive stone fireplace. We started talking. Not the superficial small talk I had with Chloe, but real, heavy conversation. He told me he had spent his life building an empire only to realize he had no one to share it with. He admitted he knew Chloe was using him, but he was so starved for company that he accepted the trade. My heart actually ached for him. Here was a man who could buy the world but couldn't buy a sincere good morning. I looked at him, really looked at him, and realized he was more of a man than anyone I had met in my own age group. He was sophisticated, stable, and desperate for the kind of warmth Chloe was incapable of giving. I don't know if it was the wine or the years of my own loneliness bubbling over, but when our hands brushed, the air in the room changed. It wasn't just chemistry, it was a collision. That night, in the guest wing of my daughter's marital home, I crossed a line I never thought I'd even stand near. It was the most intense, connected experience of my life. He didn't feel like a man of 56. He felt like a man who had finally found what he was looking for. I left a few days later, my head spinning with guilt and a strange, terrifying euphoria. I tried to go back to my normal life, but the phone calls started almost immediately. Julian didn't want Chloe, he wanted me. He told me that for the first time in a decade, he felt seen. We began a secret, feverish affair. Every time Chloe posted a photo of herself half-naked at some beach club in Greece, Julian was on the phone with me, telling me he wished I was the one in his bed. He started sending me gifts, not for show, but things he knew I needed. Then, the morning sickness started. I took 3 tests just to be sure, and all of them were positive. At 41, I was pregnant with my son-in-law's child. I wasn't scared. I felt like I had been given a second chance at everything. Last week, Chloe announced she was going on a 3-week spiritual retreat in Bali with her bridesmaids. The second her flight took off, I was in an Uber to the estate. Julian was waiting at the door. He took my bags and kissed me with a hunger that made me forget I was technically a guest in my daughter's house. We've spent the last few days living like the couple we were meant to be. I'm sitting in the sunroom now, looking out over the gardens, feeling the life growing inside me. Julian knows about the baby. He cried when I told him. He told me he's never wanted anything more than a family with a woman who actually cares if he breathes. He's already talking to his lawyers about the ironclad prenuptial agreement Chloe signed. She thinks she's so smart, thinks she's playing him, but she doesn't realize she's already been replaced. The plan is simple but cold. Julian is going to file for divorce the moment she lands back on American soil. He's going to cite her extravagant waste of marital assets and her documented infidelities, because yes, Julian has files on her trips that she doesn't know about. I'm staying here. This is my home now. This is my life. I know people will call me a monster. I know they'll say a mother should never do this to her daughter. But Chloe never wanted a husband, she wanted a bank account. I wanted a partner, and I wanted a father for the child I thought I'd never have. By the time Chloe realizes what happened, her key cards won't work, her friends will be gone, and I'll be the one sitting in the master suite, raising the heir Julian actually wanted. I'm not just surviving Chloe's choices anymore, I'm ending her reign. It's time for the grown-ups to take back the house.